This video is all about the risks and dangers that I face on a daily basis walking around the coast. I assess the risk in every scenario, and I don't advocate that people do what I do. But take a look, and I hope you find it interesting. See the tide's coming in. My journey is regularly a race against the tide, and whether or not I can cut round certain areas. And you can see it's behind me here. If I can get over this, it saves me walking back another 10 miles. And if I climb over and get round, you can see all the way around the bay, right to the headland out there. It saved me a day's walk. And these are decisions I have to make all the time. I have to think about, is it practical, is it safe, what's the risk? People get cut off by the tide all the time. The RNLI and the Coast Guard, they come out to help them and rescue them, but I'm pretty experienced, and at the moment this is one that's I'm finding difficult because the tide is coming in quite quickly. This is a pretty rough climb with no backpack, let alone with my backpack. You can see I could probably just get around there, but I've had a look already, and it doesn't last very long before it's just sheer rock face. So I'd either be climbing above the water, very close to it, with the risk of falling in the water, or I can go straight up over onto solid ground. I've always really loved climbing because it's a challenge like no other. You're totally reliant on yourself, and there's enough of an element of danger that helps your survival mode kick in. Before I climb anything, I always do a dry run without my backpack. I assess the route first and pick a line, and once I'm committed, I just go. It's easy to make a mistake, so unless you're really confident and know what you're doing, please don't try it at home. Knowledge of the material in front of you, rock, shale, sandstone, etc., is key to success. Okay, I just done a test run without my bag. It's pretty straightforward. I've got a route. I reckon I can get up there in a few minutes and get over onto this nice firm high ground. Well, I made it up onto this high ground. You can see the bay behind me now. It's probably not that high, it's maybe 30-foot climb. I've just dumped my bag under a gorse bush for a minute, just so I can quickly get to the highest point over here and assess where I'm going before the tide comes in too far, in case I need to backtrack. Taking the high ground in any scenario is always beneficial because it gives you a clear lay of the land. Okay, it was a good decision in this instance. I can see right down there I've got enough time to get down and round before the water hits the high water mark over there, which means I can get onto that path, carry on all the way along the bay, get into my end destination for today. I have also noticed that just a bit further in from where I've come up, there's a path that takes down. It's like a little bowl-like ravine. I might be able to contour that, get down the other side without having to scrabble down here with my bag. So I'm going to check that out quickly now, maybe go and give it a go. I don't know if you can see that ridge line there. That's the sort of contour area, and the bowl. It's a lot deeper than it looks, but I can get down there, follow it round safely without having to scrabble down that path. So I'm going to go and grab my bag now, start pressing on again. Right, got another river to ford.
Rocks are quite slippery.
this hot and there's no relief or shade from the sun, finding an overhanging rock or a large surface of rock can cool you down in minutes. It makes all the difference. I've just been on an island, the only person on an island. Imagine that. Whole island, no one else on it. And I had to leg it off the island because, as you can see, the tide is coming in. I just made it clear of that. I'm at this harbour light or leading light, and I've now got to get back on the mainland over there before the tide comes in and covers my split path. Running on gravel. Not a lot of fun running on gravel. If you can see behind me, I'm in pretty dense forest. Just outside Hedresega. Look, Gilphead. It's humid. I've just cut through this here to try and get onto an old disused track which should take me all the way to Tarbert in theory, which is about 20 miles away, but it's not maintained. It's quite overgrown, pretty tough going, very steep at points. Okay, we're just weighing up the risks of trying to get over an estuary. We're running along the track here after Ravenglass. Strictly speaking, it's probably a bit risky. And you can see Ravenglass is just over there. But thankfully, there's now a footbridge. So the reason I wanted to point that out is that in the 1970s, I think, there's a guy, John Merrill, he actually did run across train tracks on his Walk of Britain. Pretty risky, but back then trains were less frequent, there was no footbridge, and it probably saved him a day. I spend so much time in remote areas alone, I really have to think about the decisions I make. Taking risks isn't always a bad thing, but managing and assessing those risks is important. When risks go wrong, you've got to have a backup plan, and if you haven't, the consequences could be incredibly serious.